a very sensitive, difficult subject to talk about, which has been highlighted by the Express today in a YouGov poll. And here you see, it's the Independent actually, the new anti-Semitism. And it's a survey of British opinion which shows an alarming degree of prejudice. Now, according to this poll, 25% of people believe Jewish people chase money more than other people. 17% of them feel that Jews think they're better than other people and have too much power in the media. And 11% claim Jews are not as honest in business as other people. In the studio now is a man called Raphael. Raphael is so worried about these perceptions that he doesn't want to give us his surname. He's a French father, he's married, he's got 3 children, he grew up in France, but he now lives in London. He works in the banking industry in London, and his sisters, fathers, your uncles, your cousins, your wider family still live in France. Have you experienced anti-Semitism?
Well, let's just turn around the question first. If we think about surveys are about perception,
yeah,
how people feel about it, so it's always open to discussion. One thing that is sure is the fact that most European Jewish schools and synagogues are protected. And it looks like most European citizens are unsurprised about it. Are we allowed to ask a question? Why are synagogues and schools, Jewish synagogues and schools across Europe, most of them, if not all of them, protected? What I mean is, there are perceptions of anti-Semitism. We can discuss about it, and we will discuss about it. But there is certainly a question to ask about why Jews need to be protected in Europe.
So what are you saying? You're saying there are 2 levels. It's not just having an opinion or derogatory opinions. It can translate into what we saw in Paris last week.
Yes, yes. If we don't act decisively in Britain, we risk going the same way as Europe has gone.
Raphael, let me ask you, why is it? Why is that perception held? Why do you think?
There are multiple causes to it. I think in France, for example, for many years, successive governments have decided not to tackle this issue. Let's be honest. They tried to put it aside or close their eyes. For example, when in 2012, I think, Mohamed Merah killed 3 children in a school, governments ignored what happened in some suburbs of Paris, where celebrations of joy and happiness were heard in some neighborhoods. So now I think Jews in France are definitely happy, and they are receptive to the message sent by the government, which seems to be handling the situation properly. For example, at last, they are sending policemen and even the army to protect the Jewish schools and synagogues.
I want to relate this now to the UK. And if you're not in the Jewish community, you're perhaps not aware of a lot of what goes on here. But I'm reading in the Independent today, and they're talking about cemeteries being desecrated, and they're talking about graffiti and all sorts of intimidation. But here's a tale from a Manchester rabbi, Rabbi Arnold Saunders. And he says he was driving along the road, and he's a Manchester United supporter. And in the car in front of him, there was a guy in a United shirt, and he looked towards this guy and he thought, I wonder whose name he's going to have on the back of his shirt. Is he going to have Cantona? Is he going to have Keane? Is he going to have Best? Who's he going to have on the back of that shirt? And on the back of that shirt, he saw, "Kill the Jews." And he talks about how shocked he is with this, and basically talks about how that sort of abuse can grow into something even more dangerous. So who has this hatred? Why do they have this hatred? Has a lot of this to do with the Palestinian situation, do you think?
I don't think so. I don't think it's related to the Palestinian situation. I think that in Europe, in Britain or in France, there is a sizable minority of people, and I say minority because the majority is fine, who show sympathy or understanding towards a certain ideology, the extremist Islamist ideology. And it's becoming a problem even in Britain, actually. So I think first measure would be to organize some law enforcement against organizers of protests which become anti-Semitic. We saw demonstration in July or in August where we heard slogans like "Burn the Jews," "Kill the Jews," "Hitler didn't finish the job." Originally, it was supposed to be critical against Israel, but we see that it's totally different.
Okay, Raphael, thank you very much indeed for highlighting this, and more details of that whole survey. It's in The Independent today, that YouGov survey. Very, very disturbing. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.